Hello everyone, welcome back to my shop. Got another flux core welding comparison video coming at you today. This time it is the YesWelder Flux 135 against the tried and true Century FC-90. YesWelder sent their machine out to me about a month ago. I paid cash for the Century FC-90, I don't know, around 3 years ago now, and we're going to compare both of them. I've had a chance to use the YesWelder a few times, where for those that watched my last comparison where I used the titanium, I basically used it out of the box and it didn't work. I plan to redo that video someday with a different unit, but it's just going to take me a little bit of time to justify the funds again. So we're going to start off comparing some of the different parts of each welder, and then we'll go into doing a couple of welds. I'll admit right off the bat here that there's a chance that however those welding results turn out could be because of me. Take that into consideration, but I'm just going to do a comparison and I'm going to try to be as objective as possible. Without any more delay, let's get into the video. Alright, so let's just start off with the machine size itself. So the Century here, hopefully you can see that, stands about 10.5 inches tall. Well, let's measure the highest point. At the highest point, it's about 11.5 inches, I would say. Now let's go with the width. You got about a 5.5 inch width, and for the depth, you got about a 12-inch depth. So pretty compact package here in the Century. As you can tell, the Flux 135 is a smaller package. At the highest point, we'll call it about a 9.5 to the top of the handle there. I do think it comes in a little wider at 6 inches, and the depth comes in at just about 12 inches, just a hair less. So if you're needing a more compact welder, the Flux 135 is going to be a better option. And so if you need it more compact, you're probably going to need it to be more portable. And so the YesWelder Flux Core Welder does have this nice grab handle. It is plastic, seems pretty robust on top of the machine. I know that the top of the Century is not in the view of the camera, but as you'll see later, there is no handle. It does come with this point for a carry strap. So if you're having to haul it up ladders, maybe the Century would be a better option for you in that sense. There's a strap that will run across the top around the back. The YesWelder doesn't have that. For me, the grab handle makes more sense. I actually just completely got rid of the strap on this thing. So let's talk specs. I'm pulling the specs from the websites that both of these machines are from. Both of them are inverter welders, meaning that they take AC power, regular 110 volt wall power, they turn it into DC power, and then when you're actually welding, that is all off of DC. I know that these inverter welders make nicer welds. So I've never hit the duty cycle on the Century, but supposedly it has a 30% duty cycle. It doesn't tell me at what output that 30% duty cycle is rated at. I guarantee that's not running it on full power at 10 on the settings or anything like that. So they claim that you can weld up to 1/4 inch with this machine. I think that would be cutting it pretty close. I think that you could get a full penetration weld with 35 thousandths wire. It says the maximum amperage output is 90 amps and the minimum is 30 amps. And you do get a 6-month warranty with this. And you can weld with both 35 thousandths wire and 30 thousandths wire on the FC-90. Moving over to the Flux 135, they claim that you have a 60% duty cycle at 135 amps and 100% duty cycle at 104 amps. Now, this does say 135 amp output. I'm not sure how they're getting those numbers. I'm not seeing what kind of warranty you get on the Flux 135. What's interesting is that they say that this machine is good to weld up to 1/8 inch thick. Supposedly this has a better output than this, but this they're claiming can weld thicker material than the Flux 135. That's pretty much all I got for the specs that are really comparable, but I know that YesWelder has pretty good customer service. They will get back to you and help you if you have problems. Let's talk about price point real quick. The FC-90 I just saw on Home Depot when I was looking up the specifications. They're wanting $219 for it. YesWelder on Amazon is asking $159.99, and on their website I believe it's $179.99. So the reason for the 20% increase on that is because if you buy it from my link in the description below, you can help my channel out by spending just a couple extra bucks at the YesWelder website. I'll earn a small commission off of it, and then you can also use a discount code that will be in the link in the description that will give you 10% more off. So you're helping my channel out, and you are getting a little percent off if you use that coupon code. So go ahead and pick it up from there. I'll also also have the Amazon link. And if you pick it up from that link as well, I still get a kickback. It's just much smaller from Amazon than it is from YesWelder. So if you don't mind spending a few extra bucks, it does go a lot further with YesWelder than it does on Amazon, but you'll help my channel out either way if you use those links. You're looking at a maximum price difference of almost $80 here. For those that have been around my channel for a long time, you'll know that I picked up this YesWelder for $179 in store in Home Depot. You know, assuming maybe you get a decent deal on it somewhere along the lines, maybe you find it somewhere for 200 bucks. You know, you could be getting a better deal, but as they sit right now, you have a maximum price difference of $80 and like a minimum of 60 or 70 really. So significantly cheaper here with the Flux 135. All right, so let's start talking about the settings, the controls here. We'll start with the YesWelder. One thing that is interesting that YesWelder has definitely better than the Century is they give you this wire selection. So this is going to change the settings inside the machine for 30 thousandths wire or 35 thousandths wire. So it gives you a little bit more controllability there and ease of use with these nice LED lights. If the unit was powered on, I'd be able to show you that. Here's where I like the Century a little bit better personally. You just have, what they give you is just a low, normal, and high setting for your heat output. And then down here, you just have slow to fast for your wire feed settings. Now, I'm assuming, and I feel like I've gotten it pretty close to dialed in correctly when using it, that you're gonna want to set your wire feed speed pretty close to the same angle, your little dial here and your arrow to wherever your voltage is, because that's how every other machine like these is that I've ever used. To get a pretty good weld, you're gonna want them to be the same. So here on the Century, you have a lot smaller indicators. This is something I think that YesWelder needs to change. They need to come out with like a 1 through 10 numbering system on this, or a letter system or something to give you a little bit better reference points for your setting selection. So here on the Century, if you go 4, I mean, it depends on your wire size and what you're welding, then you're probably gonna go 4 on your voltage and like 4.5 on your wire feed speed. The nice thing is that here on, and I know you can't see it, of the FC-90, they give you a little chart for what thickness of steel you're welding and where to set your settings. YesWelder does not give you anything like that. That seems like a simple improvement that YesWelder could make on this machine to make it just that much more user-friendly. So let's talk about our leads where they're coming out of the machine. I do like this little plastic coil support. I feel like it kind of helps sweep all the components that lead up to your MIG gun out a little bit more without this fast, sharp turn. Puts a little bit less stress on the components in here, as well as probably the wire drive mechanism. So maybe if YesWelder could figure out something like that, it is just a nice little touch. I feel like it does kind of just help support it a little bit better. There's nothing like that on the YesWelder, but I do have to say that I like how the YesWelder uses DINS plugs, at least for the ground. I think that's a nice feature because you can change out these DINS plug ground clamps very easily where this is fixed in the machine coming off the FC-90. Now this brass ground clamp that I have here did not come with the Century FC-90. It is an aftermarket ground clamp, and it is significantly better than the piece of junk that they send. The spring was weak basically out of the box and weakened even faster than I ever would have imagined it'd be able to. This has a much stronger spring, gets a better hold, and it's made out of brass. And I've just been able to get much better welds. The ground clamp here for the YesWelder with the braided copper wire and the copper contacts is a pretty decent little ground clamp that they include with this. Nothing wrong with it. It is definitely miles better than the one that Century sends with their machines. So you are getting a ground clamp out of the box that you probably are not going to have to upgrade. With the FC-90, I would upgrade that thing. So we'll start here with the Century. This is the QB150 that they got down here. It does come with this plastic guard, which I actually prefer. If you watched my video, I recommended upgrading the copper one that comes on the YesWelder to one of these plastic ones. So the Century automatically gives you one. I had to buy one for the YesWelder. It is definitely not something that's required. It's more my personal preference. So I have to say that the one that comes with the YesWelder, I gotta say the gun I feel like is a little bit higher quality. Just feels like it's a little bit heavier, made out of a little bit more maybe heavy duty plastic. It gives you this nice little handy hook, and I can tell you how many times that has come in handy. It's basically the same thing that comes on my Forney YesWeld 140 MP, the same gun, and this hook comes in handy all of the time. There's no such hook for the one that comes with the YesWelder. with the Century FC-90. So yeah, I'm gonna just go out and say that it's not a big win or anything, but the YesWelder kind of wins on the MIG gun. Let's talk about wire drive mechanisms and just the spool compartments altogether. I can't show you both machines because they're so different side by side, so we'll have to talk about them separately. But both machines are only capable of holding 1 and 2 pound spools, and then they have very, very similar looking wire drive mechanisms here. They're both made out of plastic. They both look like they easily come out of the same factory. Whether or not they do, I have no idea, but it wouldn't surprise me if they did. Both of them come with wire drive rolls that are 30 thousandths or 35 thousandths. You can change them, and they're knurled because these are flux core only welders. There's no way to run gas with them. You'll see that it's pretty much the same thing with the Century. So as you can see here on top of the Century, there is no grab handle like I mentioned before. The lid is a little bit nicer, and I have to say that I actually like the top loading system better than the side loading, unless I can get 10 pound spools in the side loading, then I prefer the side loading. But like I said, they do have this chart too. I wanted to show you that while we're up here. YesWelder needs to come out with a chart like this that'll give you some settings and actually number their settings here like I had mentioned. Basically, like I said, the same wire drive mechanism. Same thing here, wire drive roll. You can flip it around for 30 thousandths or 35 thousandths wire. And there are a few little differences, but not too many. And one is certainly not superior to the other. So with all that being said, guys, I think it's time to start doing a little bit of welding. One thing I do want to point out real quick before we get there is that both of the machines have the switches on the back of them. And once you turn them on, the fans run non-stop on both machines. They do not kick on when they start to heat up. They are always running if the machine is on and plugged in. All right, so we're over here at the welding table. I do have 30 thousandths wire here in the YesWelder, which is what we're going to start off with. But it is not like Lincoln. I know everybody says Lincoln, Lincoln, Lincoln for the flux core wire. It's supposed to be a little bit better, but very similar results. I'm using Blue Demon here in the YesWelder. Our test material is going to be 1/8 inch. Hopefully you'll be able to see that. It is 1/8 inch material. Enough blabbering. Let's get to welding. So we went about halfway down. I'll get it cleaned up here. So here's what we are working with the YesWelder. Not the best ever. I'm not sure how it's coming out on camera. You know, I'm a little inconsistent with it. Sorry about the rain noise. I got a metal roof. I can't do anything about it. But I definitely feel like my settings were pretty close. Maybe I could have been a little bit hotter, but I think that that was a decent weld. I don't know if I got 100% full penetration, but it was definitely pretty darn close. Well, looks like I killed the breaker. All right, we're back at it. Hopefully we can finish this weld without turning the power off again. Well, this second one was definitely a lot worse. I burnt through on the end there, which I thought might be possible. I kind of burned through on this side. Probably a little bit too wide of a bead. Yeah, I'm probably a little bit too hot now. We'll go ahead and switch over to the Century. I've ran a million beads like this with that machine, and we'll talk about which one I would buy and why. All right, going with the Century FC-90 now. Same piece of steel. I know someone might say, hey, your results are going to be skewed because you have that nice bead on the backside from the YesWelder, and that's probably true, but I'll just tell you right now, these are just so that you can see how I weld with them. They're not these aren't comparisons to say which machine welds better. I've been welding with this Century FC-90, like I said, for the past 3.5 years now. I bought it in November and it's now late April. Yeah, I would be sitting at about 3.5 years. I can weld better with the Century FC-90. Alright, that weld right there was on the side where I burned through and had some of the issues with the other machine. I'm going to clean them off together. I'm just going to go ahead and run a separate bead, keeping on going the way I'm going. Alright, so here's what we've got from the Century. Right here is the bead on the back side that I ran, of the messy bead that I ran with the YesWelder. And then here is my last bead that I ran on the better side of the YesWelder. This is the better side with the Century as well. I am pretty satisfied with that weld. I'm sure someone could do it better than me. Probably could have done a little bit better stop, maybe a little bit better start well, and been a little bit more consistent. But that is a pretty decent weld in my opinion. You know, you might have a different opinion. That's all right. I think it's pretty good. I would be pretty happy with that if I did that on a real project. So let's compare the good weld here from the Century to the better weld of the YesWelder. I definitely did do a better job with the Century FC-90, but I do think that the YesWelder did a fine job. It's just going to take more time for me to get used to it. And like I said, one of the things that'd make a big difference is if they actually included a chart with some settings, kind of base it off of, and then allowing you to kind of fine tune things yourself. All right, so now let's finish this video off by just talking about which one I'd recommend. So basically, I'd recommend both of them so far. I'm gonna use the YesWelder a lot more. I'll probably make a 1 year. This is kind of an initial review. I like to do comparisons. I'll do a real updated review on it. You might be saying, well, you know, that was kind of a cop-out. You know, which one would you buy over the other? I'll say this. If I could pick up the Century FC-90 again at $179 versus my YesWelder at $159 or $169 if you bought it through YesWelder's website, I would probably buy the Century. Now, if YesWelder added the settings recommendation graph table on the inside of the door and the prices were the same, I don't know, that'd be such a toss-up. It would just really depend. I don't know if I could say. Let's talk about the way they are right now. No settings chart or anything like that, but $159 or $169 versus Century at $220. I'm probably gonna go with the YesWelder because, and the reason why is because I'm thinking in brand new welder, brand new to learning it, just wanting to get into the hobby and mess around with it a little bit. I originally went with the Century because it seemed like the best low-cost option at the time. A bunch of companies have come out with these new flux core welders. At $220, I'm going with the Forney Easy Weld flux core welder. It's like the 271i or FC or something like that. I don't remember what it is off the top of my head. Being in that mindset of like buying your first welder, trying to be cheap, you don't even know if you want to do the hobby. Maybe you are trying to just fix one little thing. You've got a couple of projects for it and then you think it might sit in the garage for a long time. The YesWelder is a much better option for that kind of mentality. If you think, hey, I might not ever use this thing again after I put it through, I don't know, 2-3 months of good projects, maybe I'll pull it out once a year and use it. You're getting a way better value out of the YesWelder. So it's really hard to say. I just think it depends on your purpose, what you plan to do with it. Thanks everyone for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. I know it's going to be kind of lengthy, and if you made it this far in the video, I really appreciate it. If you want to support my channel, like I said, you can go down to the link in the description below. you can pay, I think it's about $10 more, and basically I get that 10 bucks from YesWelder, and it helps my channel out. So if you feel like there's some kind of value there for you, you can do that. Or I'd get like $2 or $3 from Amazon if you went and bought it from the Amazon link. But don't forget, you do get 10% off with the YesWelder coupon code in the link below as well. Or you can run on over to Home Depot and pick up the Century if that's what you want. But no matter what, if you use those links, you're gonna support me and my channel. If you don't end up buying anything, you're just here for the entertainment, the next best thing you can do, if you're still with me, is just hit that thumbs up button. Every time you watch a video of mine, hit the thumbs up button, drop a comment, and I hope to see you in my next video.